dinner time. So will be great. You can join. Also, I think you're the hardworking C-level person. Otherwise, you will not be here, right? Or at least on the way to the CIO. So today, well, I forget to introduce myself. My name is Nan Gu. I'm from Relic. I'm the principal solution consultant. Today, I'm going to introduce a topic called value stream mappings with observabilities. But before that, when I was raised the topic to New Relic, our people, right, saying, what the hell is value stream mapping? So, okay, I said, but do you know the observability, right? We are the one who doing the observability. Oh, I see. So that topic is what the hell, and then all I say. But right now, take a look. This is the presentation time, and then we can jump into the demonstration. The PPT mode is why we are going to use the value stream mapping. First thing first, you can see this is a car. It's a Model T. It's not Tesla Model X. It's in 1913, which is about 100 years ago. Whereas the car made by manufacturer Ford is the first one formed with assembly lines, which means standardizations, and then people trying to do the automations. That's why in 100 years, the car factory is trying to do automation everywhere. Till recently, Tesla, they can making the car body 45 seconds, which is quite quick. So automation is one of the major power for the revolutions. But remember this, the automation is just a way of working, not the goal for this. Let's look at our software industry, right? We do automation as well. Well, before 2009, where we're still using maybe mainframes, we have monolithic application where the automation is not important. But after that, when we say the DevOps is starting from 2009, then we say we want to do deployment 10 times per day. We want automation on everything. So that's why you have Ansible. You have a Puppet. And then you say the Puppet sending out the DevOps every years, showing how it's important. We can do the DevOps. How it is important, we are going to introduce with automation. But here again, this is a methodology. It is not a KPI. So we can't come back to say, hey boss, our team's doing 100% automation. You not get promoted, right? You need talking to your boss with a different way, right? Even the organization who already adopt with automation, the higher performance organization much faster than the one for the low performance organization. But we're not saying automation. We say 208 times more frequent than the other organizations. That's why we measure with our work, not automation, using automation as a method only. So why, when we say that in the past 10 years in the IT industry, we try everything that we do, the standardization, we try everything on automation, but we still feel that even automations applied to all the organizations, still there's difference. Some organizations saying we already done the automations, why we still need the value streams? Look at this chart. You see here, this is a process, right? Doesn't matter it's manual or this automation. Just assuming that I'm going to a new edge, I'm going to see the doctor, right? I go to the registration. It is a machine, right? You can do everything like automated, showing on the thin card, and then you do the registrations. But I have two people up front me that call there's queue, right? They call waiting times. And then I do the registration within 15 seconds. That's processing times. So then I wait there. I take the queue and take the ticket. So I wait an additional 30 minutes so that I can see the doctor. And doctor use maybe 10 to 15 minutes to consult with my issues. And then I go to pharmacy and get payment. That is a process. But for complete this process, I will apply like half day from my boss and saying, okay, I need to go to hospital, right? And take half day off. But the valuable time here is 15 minutes, right? The only doctor talk to you and figure out your issues. That's called the processing time, which means only valuable time. The rest of the waiting times is called either waiting time or waste time. So we need to think about the total lead times and then think about the processing time. That is one of the reasons we talk about the value streams. Of course, if I see the doctor and doctor give me a wrong decisions, I get worse. So I have to come back into image again, which causes additional time to waste. So we're not just saying get quick. We're saying to complete inaccurate in shortened times. That is why we say we need to use the value stream mapping into our the IT world, into our life, and then we can using this to talk to boss, right? It's not just talking to automation, because even there is automation, you may have to waste time. So continuing working on this, when there's a software industry, right? It's organizations as IT people. We doesn't matter we are developers or we are from the architect team or PMs or infra team, right? We circle around with applications. We're always talking about applications. It doesn't matter from source code into maybe image, maybe environment, right? Maybe middlewares, maybe server or cloud. Everything we circle around with applications. And making that automation in the past a few years or even the 10 years times, we're only saying this is the matter, trying to make application working software. Once the working software online in the production environment, then we say, okay, our job is done, right? Like boss can promote me, right? But the working software is only thing that we can get value from. That is not true, right? You are an e-commerce company and you have online shopping, which is great, making money, but that is not the only way you get money. So let's take a look at the other part. We are ignoring a quite important thing is all those circle on top and underneath is called the application. The green one, the circle one is the green one is the services, which means like tools like Jira, GitLab, Jenkins, or the Nexus, Argo. All this, the green things applications generate massive data, but the data either from any organization, if you're not using it, data will just lost, right? You need to get the data retention, you need to do the calculation. The data is just like temporary things to associate your generate with application. But is that true? Make a question mark here. We can also think about the other part to generate with data, the services. Service means, as I mentioned, all the service which is serving for your applications that generate a lot of data, right? Like Jira. When we look at the Jira, they will help you to do a requirement, the epic, the user story, task assignments, the workflow, everything making you nice and easy, right? But Jira is also providing you a lot of dashboard. Those data they have, they generate into the dashboard to you. So those tools are also generate all the data we have. Look at this. We can use the data to making a maturity model. If this is too small, then I can. So we can use the data to make our own maturity model. We need to know our developers, either their maturity model or maturity level 1, 2, or 3, right? But we have adopt with Agile, we adopt with DevOps, we adopt with Lean, and maybe we adopt with like domain-driven design. Everything we put in here, but are we doing okay or we are doing the right things? So when the boss asking us or asking you as a potential CIO, then what you are response back, right? You're not able to say, okay, team's doing great, all the automation, integrations, generalizations. That's fine. But shouldn't using that. You should using the data from all the services and then come back and say, this is maturity model. This is meant that we can get the next level. That's one. The other one is called a value stream model, which means we need to know where there is a waste. Doesn't matter automation or manual, right? Figure out the waste. You have to rely on the data. The last one is machine learning model. I'm not adding this because this is too hard. I'm adding this because when we're doing the AI ops, they starting with the data. Once you have all the data from the ticket system or the data from all pipelines, then you can using this to do the analysis, the prediction, and showing how to improve developer productivity. That is the data part. Let's go further. So here, when we there's one word called DevOps stuck around with a purchase. That's why the turnaround is because I done that right. The presentation, the PowerPoint. Why upload into Mira? The Mira will making us a surprise. So you should say there's all the customers stuck around that red door, and then they get things turned around. So let's look at this first. When we're talking about the DevOps, we know there's environment as a service, there's pipelines, there is cloud native. Everything we settle down is called the DevOps 2 chains. Most organizations already done this, maybe for years. And then the second layer is some of organizations saying, okay, not only the binaries, we need to talk to the business. So we have the Jira, we have the delivery platforms where we can talk to this user, hey, this is a feature we can deliver in next month. Those two are ready, means you have the tools to generate data. The level 3 is the observability, also value stream mapping. That's why I'm bringing the topic today. That what the hell is value stream? All I said is observability. And this layer where you have all the data you have and you putting that into a observability, using that numbers, talking to the stakeholder. We'll show you how. And then you see the last one is platform, where the AI platform may service internal AI ops, and maybe the service external, where for your business team do all kind of predictions and making analytics. Well, there's top layers. So once we have set up the tools generate all the data, we can generate these whole things, right? So in the level 1, we can come back into the dev team. Hey, look at this. Your lead time for change is too low. You need to improve. Your deployment frequency is still not enough because of maybe the automation, right? So we can talk to the IT teams, especially on the dev part. Hey, this is the part we need to improve, and this is current result. Later we say, oh, well, we have dev team learning using domain-driven design, using microservice patterns, looking great. But the info team here is saying, okay, I still do not know much about the Kubernetes, so I'm still in the learning part. And the VM, okay, but the Kubernetes, not okay. So level 2, we'll say here how to improve with the mean time to detect, mean time to repair, how to make the cloud native environment is more stable than the VM is challenge, but still we can improve on this. And then we go further, saying level 3, since we have the data, we have the observabilities, we can talk to the finance team. That is team beyond the IT. Why you can talk to the finance team? Because finance team only care about numbers, right? They don't care about your automation, how many features you have delivered. The CIO only asking one thing: how much money you need, how much money you earn, right? So here, when we're talking about the finance team, you have the observabilities. You have to show what is the story burn in your dev teams, and that is money. How much resource you are going to use for your environment, for your applications, you can talk to the finance team. Even you can predict how much you can earn by the API, right? Page view, user views, get all this information, can come back to finance team. Hey, this is the investment, like a BP, small version, but generated by platform. So this is where we want to do value stream mapping, also observability. Okay, how do we do that? Also, it's not in the demo mode yet, still in the slide. As we can see here, what we want to do, the software design, is we're starting from requirement, which is day 0. At the time when developer is not starting with code yet. So the business user will rating all the requirements to the user stories. And then your architect team comes up saying, okay, this needs a microservice. And then even you can use in the consulting firm saying, come on, I will show you how to do the cloud native development or application modelizations. Still, that's day 0, which means dev team is not starting with coding yet. And at day 1, you can say we're starting with the developer understand with requirement, figure with coding, and then finish the features, commit with code. That's a day 1. Because the code is not in the production yet, which end user is not able to use it. So that's called day 1. The day 1 means this not return any value. Day 1 plus means the environment. Then till day 2, you will say there is a multi-cloud management. You have ITOM, you have maybe DataOps, until you have a cluster where at the time your application will deploy into the environment. And the user can see that. But of course, that also means this is in production environment. Application in there as a user have to make sure that there is no downtime, or at least when there is downtime, have to fix it 2 hours according to the finance regulations, right? That is for the day 2. When we apply the value stream mapping, when we apply with observabilities, we need to at least have a map where we want to do the automation, or where we want to do observability, where we want to do the value stream. So this can break down into very detailed one. Show you the one which the software supply chains. Right? People saying, "Oh, I know the DevOps talk that," but here you see the small portion of the whole service map. When you're using Jenkins, using maybe a Docker file, using ArgoCD to the deployment, this is only part of your daily life. This is only part of your SREs. And this part, you do need a domain expertise, like SRE's domain expertise, help you which tools you need to choose in your organization or in your teams. And then you also need a domain expert to show you, hey, how to break down the requirement, the story, how to do the estimation, right? You also need a agile expert to tell you what is the velocity, how to calculate this. So all among this service map, you need a domain expert, and then we can talk about the automation. So back here, this is the full map. This is not the one which we are going to show everything for the workshop. The workshop starting from here. Before we jump into the demonstration and take a look. Remember this whole process. We want to get a observabilities. We want to know the data before we talk back maybe the management team saying how we do our daily work. Are we doing okay, or are we doing great job, or we need to improve, right? So here I'm going to show you a few things. I have deployed the GitLab Tecton's Argos into a Kubernetes clusters. And I have applications called Pack Clinics, where starting from source code, go through everything, build the cluster. So that is the process. That is the environment which we need to prepare with. Stop here, I can show you my environment. This is before joining to the environment, just want to see the setup. I have set up with HK cluster. You can give a try if you first time to using Google Cloud. They have some credit using for the workshop or POC yourself. So here, when you register with a GKE cluster, and make sure two things. One, you have the storage class, and you have the storage because those tools need a persistent volumes. And then just make sure that you have at least node, because they should have sufficient resource. You can also use autopilot cluster, but trying to using multi-node for yourself. And then with this, you can also use a GCR as your image registry. And then here is the few things. I'm not going to the details, but you need to prepare certain CRI tools, and then you can deploy with GitLab and Tecton, Sauna, Nexus. Those everything I list here has been deployed into Kubernetes. You don't have to prepare a virtual machine by yourself. You don't need on this. So starting for step till step 7, I will show you my environment. Here is the GitLab that have been deployed with a domain name which I applied from Google. I have a SonarQube running as a load balancer. There is a dashboard for a quality and measurement. I also have a Nexus where I deploy here just in case, because you do need a private repo, and also you need to store with your artifact. Okay. I have a Tecton. Tecton is more like a Jenkins, but much faster. So I have deployed a few pipelines just in case. Those are the pipelines which I starting running from version 1 to version 7 with the status and also with the pipeline names. If I click each a single one, then you will see here is the steps. Like I check out the code, and then I do build and test. I do the code analysis, and then publish into Nexus. I prepare the image, build the image, and then I tell you, the repo saying where is the image. And ArgoCD can take over. So that is a pipelines, and each pipelines, say if you want, you can see all the logs, either that's right, wrong, or you can do the debugging. So that is the Tectons. And then this is my ArgoCD, where I have deployed a Pack Linux on my K cluster, where using Argo, I would tell the cluster, hey, there is a new image coming. Help me to sync. Once it's synchronized complete, you will see here, this is the Pack Linux with a service deployment with a new pod. Okay. Pod running in 2 hours time with my last pipeline. I need to terminate so I get a new pod. It's more like a rolling update without the downtime, but never touch with my environment. So that's why we're using the pipeline. And this is the applications. So I'm going to do here is I will trigger 2 pipelines. One using a GitLab CI. I have set up the GitLab CI here. So just go and trigger with the pipelines. The reason for this is I want to show you end-to-end. That's number 1 purpose. Number 2 is I want to show you how long it takes for a pipeline. So this pipeline is up running, and they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 steps, which means when this pipeline finishes, you will get a new image ready to deploy into your GK cluster. But let's wait and wait for the hours, how long it will take. Because when we talk the value stream mapping, we need to know each single steps with the lead times. Then we can say, can we improve the, shorten the lead times? This is up running. I can also trigger another one where, come back here, is I want to show you another pipeline is also up running. Here we have with a Tecton. Right. I want to Tecton to run version 8. Once I commit my code, let's go back in Tecton here. All right, still version 7 because I haven't applied that yet. So I go to Argo, back to here, saying, can you help me to deploy a new version? Because right now you're only using version 7, right? Sync the files. Okay, help me to apply a new pipeline into the version 8. So here you can say too small, right? The version 8, those are the pod running for the task. You can also see this in different angle. Like pipeline 8 is up running in Tecton. This is all the logs, and with starting the checkout has been done. We right now it's just in the build and test. Or you can see the different angle from Argo is there is 2 pods up running because this pod run the task. We also have the GitLab running. Why we do this is because I want to do a comparison. If I using Tecton's same application, just 5 minutes, compare with the GitLab CI 8 minutes, every pipeline, then we're saving 3 minutes per pipeline. That is a lot of saving, right? That is the one. And then the running will take about 8 minutes. So let me come back to the presentations. Haven't done the presentation yet. So here, once we integrate with everything and we putting the data or we collecting the data into one observability platforms, then we build all the dashboard. See the dashboard here is when we measure with the dev team, hey, from requirement into first commit, how long it takes. Why we asking this is because the dev team has their own capacities. You can't ask the dev team to finish all the work if you're from the business teams. And on the other hand, is as a dev team, you also able to talk to the business. I know the velocities, and from the requirement into first commit only taking 1 day. That's quick enough. So which means the business user have some ideas, and then the dev team is able to understand and start the coding, right? And also you will see here is like average per week or days from first release. That will measure with a dev team starting with coding till they go to productions, right? How long that will take. So you can see how these tools will generate massive data, and those data is supposed to build all the dashboard observability one platform. So let me show you where is my dashboard. Go. So we're collecting all the data. We're putting into a new Relic platform where we have all those data saying the success rate of from your release into a production means you're quite stable with your release mechanisms like blue, greens, or canary that works great. How many release and how many days that we've from first meet to release, which means your DevOps practice is quite mature, at least for the current teams, right? Then you can compare with different figures like rollback times, this times. All this is the numbers we should use those numbers to talk to our leadership teams, right? And there is a certain things where there's no chart data available because I'm using a version where the data retention is only for 8 days, so some data has been lost. But don't worry, the one which I show you is just that you know that you can using the observability platform talk to the higher than the leadership teams, then to the same teams where you need to improve and how is our current maturity, right? And which area we need to improve. Let's come back to our demo environment. This is only performing in the stage 3. What about Tecton? Tecton is almost building the image. So the Argo is real time to monitoring the whole thing. Right. Let's continue on our presentation mode. So once we have everything, here we go. This is a GitLab which you want to give a try. You can just download and try yourself. It will be exactly like this. So starting from the deployment with the basic DevOps tools, the GitLabs, the Tectons, right? And then we can run the pipeline because for the ArgoCD, the pipeline is still on Tecton. You can make everything here. This is some troubleshooting just in case you run, play around, have some get issues. Basically, may happen. That's why I put in troubleshooting here. And then furthermore, then you can install with ArgoCD because your image is there. Then Argo will do their job, the deployment. Those are the one, as I mentioned. Once you have the DevOps tunes, have integrated with everything, and then you need a observability. Of course, you can say I have the data because every tools have the data. Every tools have the data, but you're not going to jump one of each, all around. Okay, I look this here, I'll look the other side, then come back. That is not observability. One platform for everything. So let's come back here. So in the past a few times, the same application, Pet Clinics, Tecton's performing okay from 5 minutes to 6 minutes. Why is it 6? Because if you are continuing to run a pipeline, the pod is there and they're not putting the image. So sometimes they are taking longer for the first run. But as you can see here, Tecton is using around 5 to 6 minutes for each pipeline. Well, here the GitLab is still up running. Why there's a new trigger is because the Tecton has finished the job and then they're putting a new files, the GitOps. So that's why the Argo is saying, hey, I have new applications. Are you going to sync it? Right now it's still sync. You can check this. It will tell you there is new file. All right, then they will trigger. So we can continue to wait for this. This is done. This has been passed. This is almost done. Then we can come back and here again. So here is the details which you want to build your own pipelines, either using Argo, you can also you can using the Tecton, you can also using the GitLab CIs. And then here, as we talking about, right, working software is important, but underneath with this maturity model, value stream models, since with our data, that is also a good return. We should shift, or at least we need to balance our effort spending. With the data, you can do a lot of stuff. So you can say I'm just a developer. I should spending 8 hours per day working on the software. I don't need to take care with the data part. You may right, but know that how to measure your work, how to improve your work, you need the data to tell you. So here we've been talking about value streams starting from beginnings, and was talking too much on the tools, integrations, and then the pipelines, but we still need to come back with the value streams, right? Here we can say the pipeline, right? Ignore with the Jira part because we're not ready to do the demonstration on create a requirement, then you accept with the task. Just starting with a pipeline, starting with CI, right? The CI can break down into 6 different steps: build, test, code analysis, push to Nexus, image build, and then the GitOps. And then the last step is adding the observability. We further down here. In my pipelines, I'm just using the standard Maven cleans verify or Maven cleans install or Maven deployment. But that taking about 6 minutes. The Git labs, I think that yes, there's 2 parts, right? 9 minutes or 8 minutes 52 seconds. 9 minutes is generally is the one we use labs. And why we taking 9 minutes is come back here because we never using the cache mode, right? So assuming that the most valuable process time is in greens, but we did have some time wasted to get all the library from internet, Maven Central, which you're spending about 4 minutes time, right? So later on, I will modify my pipelines, and then I will show you with the modification where you're adding the cache here, you can save almost 2 minutes. So here is the calculations, right? We're trying to figure out the whole process, the whole end-to-end process. Where is the waste? How we improve it? If I can save the time from 4 minutes and 2 minutes, which means each pipeline, I can get 50% of the productivity increase. And also, you will say here is 2 minutes is not a lot, but your pipeline may be running every day, right? Every day you're running maybe multiple times. Then you have a few applications and running maybe 100 times with the pipelines. 2 times 100 times you have 60 developers. You get 180 million hours, which you can saving from a optimization pipelines. That's where we're seeing the value stream. So of course, you say the Maven build will I already adopt. You can apply into any other stage. The CI is the one, CB is the one. What about CDs? Right? I show you the one with the GitLab CI is taking 8 to 9 minutes. Tecton is only taking 5 to 6 minutes. And then with the optimization of Maven build and also the image build, right? You do the Docker file image build, you put in the basic image, basic layer all the times. Then you should using like a pack, like source to image, or you can do the few pack. So that's almost the tools you can choose and optimize. Here we have a 3 running, 2 complete pipelines. We got ours here, and then we want to try to optimize a little bit. Well, everything I have mentioned is in my GitHub, so that you can give a try. Here is the one. I will just remove cache. Then this is not the complicated one. Just adding the variable tell the Marvins what you need to optimize using the cache. Beware of the space. Sometimes will cause you a lot of problems if you don't do that well. There we go. Just tell the mechanical cache here. Save the time. If I get that right. And this is the new one. The old one still running, so they will continue to run. I set up a recycle where once the new one has been complete, we'll try to create a new pipeline just for testing. Show you times. And this is the application where the last one is up running in the Kubernetes clusters. Right, because the new image is coming, so that's why they call it auto. The pipeline is continuing working because I have 2 pipelines. Each pipeline will update pack link. Then we will tell the Argo saying, here's one. Will you sync this into your production environment or want to ignore this? That's why this auto sync. You can make a decision because most of organization where your application running in production environment would really care a lot of attention. That's why I will do the healthy check before I click sync. So those still running, and I will get the result for you where using 9 minutes will reduce like 5 to 6 minutes. And I have some history document as well, like 2. Here is 8 minutes 52 seconds. During there is a optimization here, on 5 minutes 42 seconds. That's why we should spend efforts to our daily work and using observability platform to figure out where we can improve. And then we go back to the certain field, optimize, then can come back to observability again to tell either we're doing the right or wrong. But of course, we need to try a lot. Like one optimization, you just update your GitLab pipelines you can also try with backend. Want to? There is new lightweight CI, also saving your effort. But the purpose of this for the workshop today is we just want to tell you value stream is automated. So we using the observabilities to figure out where is the issue, using the value stream mapping, making this better, move all the waste then our activities, and that is the KPI that we talk. All right, that is the workshop for today. Any questions you want to ask? So we're running out of time for 8 minutes, which our lead time is not good, but it's due to the delay of last presentation. So far we should have times under control, but time that we can go back, enjoy the life. All right, thank you.